So, apparently Joe Biden is president and Kamala Harris. I see the tickers on the bottom. Kamala Harris being the first woman of color, the first African and South Asian vice president-elect. They weren't elected. What happened was Donald Trump was on track for his red wave. He said a red wave was coming. And there's insurmountable evidence that the red wave was going to happen. I watched the whole thing. And, from the very first polling office opening on Tuesday, there was discrepancies already. Poll watchers being exited from their position, Republican poll watchers. There was discrepancies from the moment the polls opened. And then it would have been around 10:30, 11 o'clock. No, actually, it would have been about 9:30, 10 o'clock Pacific, out west. It was around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And Donald Trump was on track for his red wave. He was ahead in the polls in Pennsylvania, Michigan, all these contested states right now. He was ahead, exponentially ahead of Joe Biden. Like, he was completely on track for his red wave, a red tsunami was about to happen. But as soon as they realized that Donald Trump was going to get his red wave, his red tsunami, they stopped the counts. And these battleground states, these so-called battleground states, these Democrat-run states. And for 4 hours, they stopped counting. And then suddenly, millions and millions of ballots just popped out of nowhere. And they still didn't count the military vote, the absentee ballots from the military. And I don't even think they have yet. And you telling me that Joe Biden would have won the military vote? I absolutely don't think so. Well, it's not even I don't think so. It's not possible. Trump overwhelmingly had support from the troops abroad. But by 9:30, 10 o'clock out west, I don't know what time it would have been out east. If it's 9:30 out west, then it's probably about 11:30, 12 o'clock out east. I think there's about 3 hours difference there. But anyways, in Pennsylvania alone, Donald Trump had over 750,000 votes. In Michigan, he had 340,000 votes. And they stopped it. Once they realized that there was no way that Joe Biden could catch Donald Trump, they shut down the poll. They shut down the election for four hours. And then suddenly, boom, millions and millions and millions of ballots popped up somewhere. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands at the very least. The whole election's been compromised. There's no way that Joe Biden won that election without cheating and stealing. Like, even at his so-called acceptance place on election day, every car in that parking lot was a brand new Chrysler product, Jeep and Dodge. Daily overhauls do get expensive. and they were all empty, those cars. And those people dancing in the streets yesterday, they have to maintain the illusion, right? They have to maintain the illusion. And those people that were dancing in the streets yesterday, they weren't Biden supporters. They were paid actors. They were paid actors. Maybe a few, handful. But if this election was absolutely honest, Joe Biden would have been absolutely decimated. He would have been thrown into the ground. You know, he couldn't even have, if this election was true, his line was just going up, and then it started curving like that. Well, Donald Trump kept on going up and up and up. You know, the red wave. So the people who supported Trump, don't lose faith. Because the bottom line is that we did get our red wave. You know, 2 days before the election, we had a mega rally in Vancouver, British Columbia. Well, they call it, it was a mega rally, but it was actually a little bit of a protest, mega, make Alberta great again. Yeah, well, there was a mega rally in Alberta too, make Alberta great again. But anyways, in Vancouver, just 2 days before the election, there was protest in Vancouver, a mega rally in Vancouver against the mask wearing, mandatory masks in British Columbia right now. Another good news on the Canadian front is that we might be getting a snap election, so hope and pray that Justin Trudeau will be ousted from power, and hopefully overwhelmingly Canadians will wake up this time, and no more Justin Trudeau. Mind you, the Conservative Party of Canada is not much better, but hopefully Maxime Bernier will have enough. Hopefully Maxime Bernier will. If there is a snap election, in Canada, hopefully Canadians will wake up this time and not allow another. Because I think that Justin Trudeau has 2 years left since he got reelected in a year and a half ago or so. So hopefully Canadians are smart enough this time. I know that I will be doing my part to end this tyranny that Justin Trudeau has put upon the Canadian people of my great nation. And apparently there's COVID camps in Manitoba. Why is there, basically it's like a concentration camp. Something serious is happening. Like Justin Trudeau, the legacy media groups in Canada are trying to silence the fact that there is COVID camps in Manitoba. What's their plan with that? What's the plan for these COVID camps? I think they're just using it as a, they call it a COVID camp, so what the fuck's that? It looks like a concentration camp. And like I said before, a few videos before this, you can be charged with hate speech if you have a differing opinion of the totalitarian regime that is the Liberal government of Canada. And like I also said months ago, if this goes unchecked, what they're going to do is put people with wrong think into concentration camps, re-education camps, like communist China. And you American brothers and sisters, you better hope that Donald Trump wins his court. There's exponential amount of evidence that the election was a complete farce. And honestly, if I was the president of the United States or whatever, if I had any power whatsoever, I would call another election. But a snap election, boom. And the only way you could vote is in person or absentee ballots. Absentee ballots. And you must have ID. And you must have ID. And do it like Europe, where we have one day to go vote. You know, paper, no machines, no computers, no nothing, just paper. You know, maybe do it the same as Greece, you know, throw a stone, a piece of pottery in the pot for the guy that you like, and you know, a piece of pottery into the pot to the guy you like, and that's it. One red, one blue. One red, one blue. Just throw it in the throw it in the bin, and have the bin closed, and you know, very, very simple. It's very, very simple to count a vote. You have X amount of red, X amount of blue. You know, that's very basic math. I'm not even good at math, but I can count. You know, I can count. It's not hard to count. What they could do is actually, you know, have like a coin machine and like a chip, and the smaller coin for the one party, and the bigger coin for the other party, and then you could put all the big coin, because then there's no potential for rigging them, because the only way you could actually well, you know, there's always, no matter what kind of election, what kind of democracy we have, what's the saying? Democracy's like two wolves and a sheep deciding what's for dinner. Who said that? Who said that? I think it was in some Greek philosopher. The democracy is a lot like two wolves and a sheep determining what's for dinner. But anyways, Donald Trump got his red wave. Donald Trump got his red wave. So that is more and more evident as the days go by. And tomorrow, Monday, November 10th, maybe? I don't know. Days seem to be running into years here, so I don't know. But have faith. Donald Trump got his red wave. There's exponential evidence that he did. And they had to cheat. They had to cheat, because they knew at 9:30 out west, 9:30 Pacific time, they knew that there was no way Joe Biden could even come close to winning the election. You had historic amount of Latinos, historic amount of blacks, historic amount of South Asians, historic amount of Asians, and a historic amount of whites and Native Americans as well voting for Trump. Trump united a nation. Regardless of what the mass mainstream media says, Donald Trump united a nation. And if we lose the people's president, there's dire, dire straits. If Kamala Harris becomes the president of the United States, and you know damn well she will be, and mark my words, no more, no less than 9 months after the inauguration of Joe Biden, he will resign or be forced to resign. And Nancy Pelosi, if she still ends up being Speaker of the House. And actually, the truth of the matter is that the Republicans may go to impeach Joe Biden for all this evidence with the laptop and his dirty deals in the Ukraine and Russia and around the world, not just in China. Beijing Biden, that's the new hashtag for Joe Biden. Beijing Biden. I don't know who coined it, but I want to say I did, but because I think I called him Beijing Biden months ago. But anyways, it's just what is it? Groupthink. People on the same wavelength understood that Joe Biden's a dirty, corrupt politician, and anybody who has two brain cells to rub together knows that Joe Biden is a corrupt crony from decades of being in the Senate and vice president. The Democrats are truly, they think they're so smart. That's what's so funny, is these Democrats think they're so smart. But in the last 4 years, POTUS has exposed them for every amount of weakness that they have. They are elite. They do not care about the will of the people. They are globalists. They are bought and paid for by the globalist agenda and George Soros and his ilk. Donald Trump got his red wave. There's exponential evidence that he did. There's exponential evidence that this election was compromised. Plain and frickin' simple. Anybody who's been paying attention, and you have these fence sitters saying, "Oh well, it's I gotta congratulate Joe Biden and blah 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 because I'm not gonna color outside the lines at all because I gotta keep my milquetoast ideas going on. I gotta make sure that I'm center and I have to agree for the most part with the lamestream media because I don't wanna disturb the balance of power. And I'm not going to try to inform anyone because my livelihood counts on this paycheck I get from YouTube every month." Nah. Doesn't matter if you're a fence sitter or not. If this declaration holds, all free speech will be evaporated. Big tech will not be held accountable for the censorship of conservative voices. And like I said earlier, I think in this video, there's COVID camps in Canada now for some odd. There's COVID camps in Manitoba for God only knows what reason. But our totalitarian government of the Justin Cock Trudeau, the Trudeau Liberals, they're censoring the media. I don't even watch Canadian media anymore. It's so biased. It's so biased. It's so ridiculously biased. You think it's bad in the United States of America for the partisanship of the lamestream media in the States. It's like that, but 10 times worse. I would even go as far as to say that the Canadian lamestream media is even more corrupt and more backward thinking than the BBC in Great Britain. But the truth of the matter is, there's only a few handful of people that own all these media outlets anyways. So you have the talking heads, all bought and paid for by the globalist agenda, all bought and paid for by a handful of corporations, of billionaires. And then Canada, our government pays the CBC, Global, CTV, all the major networks in Canada are owned by the Liberal government. So obviously we never get any truth. And if it wasn't for the internet, I wouldn't even know that there was COVID camps in Manitoba, because I haven't watched Canadian media in a very long time, other than the few exceptions like Epic Times and Rebel News and what's another one? Northern Lights or something. The Northern? I don't know. I think they got. I haven't seen a new video from them in a while. So either they've been deplatformed and purged, because they didn't have that many. True North media. I think they might have gotten kicked off the platform because of they're conservative mostly, and well, not even conservative. They're just, they're just telling the truth about the Liberal government. So obviously we can't have that, right? But I haven't actually seen any of their new videos. Actually, I should go and look if they're still around. But they don't. They're kind of boring, actually. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, they're not like Rebel News. Rebel News, is, they seem to be a bit more entertaining. But True North is kind of like me sitting here talking to you. And they're on the interwebs, but I don't know. I don't think I think they might have been purged. But anyways, in Canada, the internet has been censored, and a lot of people, we cannot expose the corruption of Justin Trudeau. Oh my God, we can't do that. That's completely ludicrous. Why would we want to expose the corruption that is the Liberal Party of Canada? It's not only that. It's like, I was so happy when Maxime Bernier was running in our last election here, but he lost his seat. But out west, here in British Columbia and Alberta, parts of Saskatchewan as well, Maxime Bernier got a lot of support, but obviously our elections are determined in Ontario and Quebec, so he lost his seat, because a lot of people didn't like Maxime Bernier out east, even in Quebec, but yeah, no, it's hopefully we get a snap election here. One of the people I follow told me they're going to have a snap election in hopefully for the Justin Trudeau corruption. The we thing. Like I said, I am so ignorant when it comes to Canadian politics now, because I don't watch Canadian politics, which is bad. I should pay attention to what's happening here, but it's so biased that I can't watch it. I can't watch, the few exceptions like Epic Times and Rebel News and True North, but again, it's like they're hammered down by the algorithm. They're hammered down, so I don't get notifications or anything from Rebel News or Epic Times or True North. So True North, strong and free. Oh Canada, God keep our land glorious and free. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Our country is fallen into totalitarian regime. And it's kind of scary that we're having these COVID camps now in Manitoba. those who think that I'm just talking out my ass when I say Build Back Better is the globalist agenda, it's been used by Joe Biden, Justin Trudeau, and Boris Johnson, a few others around the world and abroad. This guy, Richard Cummings, is an NDP representative for the province of British Columbia. This little brochure is talking about the COVID benefit package or whatever, right? Not only once, right there, right there, Building Back Better. There's another one here. Right there. Building Back Better. And yeah, it says right here how the NDP builds back better. If you think the globalist agenda is not a threat, well, the truth of the matter is the globalist agenda has already infected Canada. This whole COVID thing is a ploy by the New World Order. Building back better, build back better. These are the talking points, and I've said time and time again, these are the talking points of the globalist agenda. Joe Biden used it in his slogan, his election campaign, building back better, build back better. It's not a conspiracy, all right? There's a few milquetoast fence sitters on the interwebs that just say, oh, well, it's a conspiracy. I don't like conspiracies. Let me tell you what, son. Everything's a conspiracy until it's not, right? Like, they can't rig the elections. Oh, that's a conspiracy. How could they ever rig the elections, United States of America? I don't know. The Democrats been doing it for decades in California and other blue states. Globalists. The globalists are a true threat. And this is why they had to undermine the President of the United States and steal this election from him. Because we cannot have, the globalists cannot have Donald Trump taking down the central bank, all right? What they want to do is create so much inflation and debt around the world that they can bring in the Great Reset. I wish I could be as elegant as certain people. I wish I had a platform as large as certain milquetoast fence sitters. They can reach millions and millions of people daily. As soon as their video gets popped up on YouTube, there's millions, hundreds of thousands of views in like less than 5 minutes. But the reason why he can still succeed and be successful on this platform now is because his subscribership is so massive. It's probably one of the reasons why Paul Joseph Watson is still on the interwebs. Mind you, he's been hammered down by the algorithm as well. It doesn't matter. You can still find him on BitChute. But the globalist agenda is an actual threat. And you have these useful idiots running around burning down cities and shit. Like, I don't know if they're still rioting. They don't report on the riots anymore, if you've noticed. Thank goodness for some of these people on the interwebs that do mention it once in a while. But yeah, this is just further evidence I know this is not the most best way to do things. Oh, oh, there. Building back better. It's not only once on that piece of paper, it's twice, maybe 3 times. Yeah, anyways. Like I've said many times in many videos, is that the globalist agenda is a real thing. It has infected Canada. Our leaders want to bring in the New World Order, plain and simple. And now we have COVID camps in Manitoba, like I've said about 3 times by now. Why is there COVID camps in Manitoba? You know, and it's not just that it's a camp. It looks like a concentration camp. It looks like a re-education camp that you see in communist China and in communist Russia. There's a snap election coming, hopefully, in Canada. Hopefully, the Canadians will wake up. Hopefully, we can get rid of this Justin Cock Trudeau. Hopefully, Donald Trump wins all of his court cases and the election goes to the rightful President of the United States of America. Because everything that happened yesterday, the people dancing in the streets for Joe Biden, they weren't Biden fans, they were paid actors by the globalists. You had, you know, in his acceptance speech supposedly on election night, that whole parking lot was empty, but it had brand new cars, you know, brand new Chryslers, Dodge, Jeeps and Rams. Daily overalls do get expensive. But every one of those cars were empty. So when Joe Biden came out and did his little fucking victory speech or whatever it was supposed to be, his address to the nation, it's completely orchestrated. Bread and circuses, man. Bread and circuses. Like I said earlier in this video, Trump got his red wave, but they had to bring an end to it. And it took them 5 days. It took them 5 days to find enough votes, to manufacture enough votes for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. 5 days, almost 6. It's not a coincidence, all right, that as soon as they stopped counting for Trump, Biden went up like that, and then all of a sudden just barely took over. And if you notice the counter, Donald Trump sat at 214 electoral college seats for 4 days. So even if they were finding counts for Donald Trump, they either disregarded them or didn't count them. It's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. This was a direct attack on the democracy of the United States of America. This was a smack in the face to nationalists and we the people. A populist nationalist. You know, why is it that only the Western countries can't take pride in nationhood? Every other people in the world can celebrate their nationality and their nationhood. But why is it that only people who look like me can't celebrate our pride, our nation pride? Why can't we celebrate all the great things that we've done, all the gifts we've given the world? Why can't we? Why do they keep on feeding us with guilt and hate for our own kind? And the useful idiots of the world. You know, we have people that hate their nation. We have people that hate, well, they're just ignorant. The ignorant, you know, ignorance is bliss, I guess, eh? But ignorance is bliss, I guess. But this election was rigged. And if you think otherwise, and you're sitting there congratulating Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, unelected, absolutely stole the election, and there's exponential amount of evidence that proves what I've just said. And if you think that the globalist agenda isn't real and it's a conspiracy, build back better. You know, that is the talking point of the globalist agenda and the Economic Forum of the world and the World Trade Organization and everything else, the World Health Organization and everything else. The globalists are a real threat to the democracy of the world, and they want to bring down Western civilization. They want to bring in the Great Reset. They want to create so much inflation and so much debt, and then they're going to move to a digital currency once the world economy falls. This is not a conspiracy. This is, they've laid their cards out on the table, like I've said in other videos and many other times. But I am being hammered in the algorithm, and you know, I don't really blame people for not wanting to watch these amateur videos that I make. Thankfully, I have BitChute, and I do get a lot more views on BitChute, but the only reason why I put it on YouTube actually is because it's easy. It's way more efficient on YouTube. And I'm not very tech savvy, so I can't actually, I don't know. I'm not very tech savvy, and basically, like I said in many other times, is that I basically can turn on my computer, and if it works, good. I learned how to put videos up on YouTube, but other than that, I'm pretty much, you know, tech illiterate, and yeah. But all you fence sitters out there that have these millions and millions and millions of views, I implore you to use your power for good. You know, we all have to make sacrifices in order to stop this globalist agenda. And those who have the power, those who can reach out to millions of people a day, need to look deeper. We all need to make sacrifice. We all need to sacrifice. You know, if that means, you know, censorship, we need to fight against censorship. If that means, you know, losing viewers because they don't want to hear the truth. Sometimes the truth is the hardest pill to swallow, especially when your mind is broken and full of ignorance. You have no clue what truth is. And but I implore all those people who have the power, who can reach millions and millions of people daily. You need to research. You need to reach out and expand your own mind. Go against what you think you know and embrace what is the truth. The truth of the matter is that the globalists have infected the United States election now. They've already infected Canada. Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand, Western Europe, Spain, Italy, France, Sweden, Switzerland, Finland. The only bastions there are former communist countries, Eastern Europe, Russia, Hungary, Slovenia, Scandinavia. Well, Scandinavia is one big place, but certain parts of Scandinavia, like Denmark, I'm not sure what's happening in Denmark, but Eastern Europe, Romania, these are all countries that have denounced the EU, and there will come a time when these, especially if you have the means, and you're tired of the globalists, and you have the means, move to Eastern Europe. Any one of these countries like Romania, Hungary, even Poland, Slovenia. There's a great movement happening in Eastern Europe where they have, stood steadfast against the globalist agenda and destruction of their culture and people. In Canada, it's a bit too late. We've had far too many decades of liberal governments, and our country is lost. And I still have hope. That Canada can come back from the destruction that Justin Trudeau has put upon us people in Canada. It's an invasion. Plain and simple. It's an invasion. It's an invasion of our people, our land. Canada debt right now is almost on par as it was in 1939, just before the war. But yet we're getting thousands and thousands of immigrants each day into our country. And it's been going on for it's been going on for a very long time now. There's no work. Those MIC jobs are gone. You know what I mean by MIC jobs, like, gas bars and, McDonald's and Burger Kings and Wendy's and low-paying, low-skilled jobs. They're all gone. Those MIC jobs that my generation, when I was young, I could go to work at Dairy Queen or whatever and, make minimum wage to flip a burger at Dairy Queen or whatever. But now those jobs are gone. Those jobs, my niece and nephew will finish high school this year. My nephew already has finished high school. And thankfully, he was lucky enough to get a job because he got a job where his father works. And my niece, she's also gotten a job, but it's also because, I'm from rural BC where there's not so much, we don't see our replacement so much. But that's also changing too. The demographic of my hometown has changed quite a bit. And where I am right now, the demographic has changed so much here that it's very rare to see a person like myself working in any of the restaurants restaurants, yes, but not like McDonald's or Tim Hortons or anything. It's so overrun by our replacements that you know, that you can't even go anywhere and not see our replacements. Anyways, another rant. Don't lose faith. Let's hope that POTUS wins his court battles against this direct attack on the democracy of the United States of America, as more and more evidence is compiling, as every hour goes by. Every hour that goes by, there's more and more and more evidence. More people are coming out. More people. It's like 17 said, he had to show the people. He had to show the people. And for those people who think 17 is a conspiracy, let me tell you what, everything that 17 has said in the last year has come to pass. And they had to shut it down. They had to throw it down the memory hole. So Sticks, ask yourself, you're a smart guy. If it's all a conspiracy and untrue and a complete farce, then why did they have to throw it down the memory hole? Could it be because he was red pilling too many people? Too many people were getting red pilled? Too many people already knew this was happening, but they just need confirmation. So they had to keep the people ignorant, so they threw it down the memory hole. Living light.